Jets at noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Mark, how significant was it as we congratulate you on being the all-time leading scorer in 2.0 history? How significant was it to get it out of the way early and with as nice of a goal as you scored?
Yeah, unbelievable pass by Casey. He's good, isn't he? He's amazing. But yeah, obviously, tremendously honored. I still am trying to catch another guy, so that one will be cool. But I'm obviously tremendously honored. I wouldn't be here without the guys. Especially the big guy who I just went ahead of. He helped me a lot in my career, and also gave me a lot of tap-ins. So I'm very lucky for the guys that I play with currently, that I've played with in the past, and owe it all to them.
That was Mark Scheifele there after he broke Blake Wheeler's franchise mark. Wheeler at 812. Mark Scheifele now 813. But the other guy he was talking about that he still needs to track down, of course, his former coach and mentor with the OHL's Barrie Colts, Dale Hawerchuk, Winnipeg Jets great. He needs 117 points to get ahead of Hawerchuk and 38 goals to surpass Ducky's 379. So, still got a ways to go. He's certainly not going to do it this year, Jim Toth.
No, and just a slight plug, I will have Dale Hawerchuk's son, Eric, on the show at 1:30 today to talk about this and talk about the relationship Mark had with his dad and all that. But yeah, look, this is huge. And I put out a tweet when he did it, and for some reason, I just knew it wouldn't last long. Or take long. I didn't think he would go pointless against Nashville. I didn't think it would go into the third period with everybody waiting to see if he gets a assist or something. And then just a great pass and a one-timer. What a way to do it as well. But often in this town, I think we and because like Jonathan Toews coming here caught me off guard, because I know it's a massive story here. It catches me off guard that how it's a North American story. And why wouldn't it be? A local hero, one of the best to ever play a game, returned to his hometown to make a comeback after missing. I think this is another one. Mark Scheifele was drafted as the first ever pick, 7th overall, and he has now become the franchise's all-time points leader. You cannot have a pick turn out better than that. If you think of the history of expansion teams or just the original 6, or go back to, I know this wasn't an expansion team, but when you as an organization make your very first pick, regardless of whether it's 7th, if it's 30th, if it's 1st overall, and that player turns out to be your highest scoring player ever, that's just, it's a little magical, right? Here's our pick. We're investing in this kid 15 years ago, and 15 years later, he becomes our franchise's all-time points leader.
Jets at Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line to win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program as we're coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio for gourmet pizza and pasta. Bring the team to Boston Pizza. Blake Wheeler also spoke. There was a little bit of a tribute, and Blake Wheeler, here was his comments after he was surpassed by Mark Scheifele.
Well, Scheif, the day that we knew was coming has come. I remember in 2019 when I broke the record and we got back to the bench and you were congratulating me, and I let you know that I was going to hold on to this one for you for a little bit, and now that time has come. And it's only fitting that the first ever draft pick in Jets 2.0 history is now the leading scorer in franchise history. So here's to many, many, many more points to come. I know you still got a lot more left in you. And just know that the Wheelers are your biggest fan. We're cheering you on from afar as always. And I'm so proud of the teammate you've become, the leader you've become, and most importantly, the friend that you've been to me and all the boys in Winnipeg over all these years. You're the best. We love you, and I hope you have a great night celebrating, pal.
And here's Scheifele on Wheeler's comments.
Yeah, hearing Wheels, Wheels' message was obviously pretty emotional. He's like I said before, he taught me so much. He's I wouldn't be where I am today without him. So hearing him say that is tremendous, and excited to call him in the coming days.
So this is interesting too. Did you know this? That Blake Wheeler has 550 assists with the Jets, and he's still number one. How many assists do you think Dale Hawerchuk had?
I don't know.
550. They both had 550.
Really?
Both of them had an assists.
And then we're done
on
with
the Jets.
Wow.
That's right. So if for Scheifele to to hit that mark. I could get you the exact. I should have pulled the number before the show started, but he's got a ways to go here, right? And he's going to surpass Blake Wheeler very soon in another mark when it comes down to games played. So he needs 14 more games, and then he'll become the Jets' all-time leader, passing Blake Wheeler in games played for the franchise when he gets to 898. But he still has 30, 29. He's still got 30. He still has 80 points left, 80 assists left to pass Blake Wheeler in terms of assists, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Blake Wheeler, during his heyday, was almost the best setup man in the entire National Hockey League.
I mean, and there's a true example of, and we talked about this a little bit last week when we talked development and everything like that, Cam. I mean, literally getting better, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's got 6 goals in 5 games. He had 87 points last year. He's into his 30s now.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, leveling off or slowing down. These guys he and Hellebuck and Connor's 28, 29.
Yeah, 28, yeah.
They're getting better. Morrissey got better after 25, 26 years old. Hellebuck.
Yeah.
Look, I said last year, Hellebuck's gotten better than he has been when he already won a Vezina. And people ask me, do you think he can get better this year? I think I was on a Sportsnet Vancouver, and they're like, can Hellebuck get better? And I'm like, I don't know. I think he's as good as it gets, and now it levels off.
Well, he hasn't slowed down.
He's just the greatest goalie on the planet for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, well, he hasn't.
But he could get better.
Well, he hasn't slowed down at all, and he was sensational again in the 4-1 win against Nashville. And now I'll take this to account a little bit. Nashville pushed. The top line for Winnipeg was great. Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor and Gabriel Velarde had a great game. Jonathan Taves, you continue to see movement there. The depth showing up. That pass from Nemesnikov was definitely his best pass as a member of the Winnipeg Jets. Vladislav Nemesnikov, his time here, that was his best pass that he's made in a Jets uniform to Nino Niederreiter. The depth is coming forward here. And Nashville, yeah, they were at the end of a long road trip through Canada, but the Jets got ahead. They held on to the lead, and Hellebuck, once again, it was absolutely sensational.
Yeah, the game itself was Nashville. I didn't know what they are. Look, I don't think of Nashville like I think of the Flyers, the Islanders, maybe even the Flames tonight.
Yeah,
but I'm starting to think maybe we should. I'm that team doesn't have a lot going on for itself. At any point, even with all those power plays and the 2-man advantage, I never was worried about that game for the Jets.
Yeah, and that was the big thing, right? They got the weapons now, right?
I didn't see a lot of.
See what? Okay, so let's go back to when the Predators were a President's Trophy winning team. The Jets and them duked it out, and I don't know. The Blues series I think is more famous now over the 2.0 era, but the Predators is probably number 2.
They had outstanding defense. They had outstanding defense and a good goalie, and then it went from there. They never had they had the Philip Forsbergs and the Ryan Johanssons and stuff, but they didn't have absolute bona fide, legitimate superstar goal scorers. But they had outstanding defense, and now it's just at any point on Saturday night were you concerned for the Jets?
I was not. No, I wasn't.
Even when they were getting power plays, I'm like, well, if they get a power play here or they do this, they're right back. I never thought to myself, they're right back in this. And it's ominous. And, then I think back, we're revisiting a lot of history here with Mark Scheifele being the first overall pick. And, last week I said, I remember the days where Wade Flaherty was being run out of town because he couldn't coach goalies. And now he's got Eric Comrie playing at his all-time best of his backup career. And Connor Hellebuck's winning Hart trophies and Vezina trophies. We revisit the Barrie Trotz thing.
Yeah.
And the Jets wanted Barrie Trotz, and Barrie Trotz kind of wanted to come home. And it got down to whatever it got down to. I heard, we all heard, I have no more insight than anybody else, but the insiders were reporting that he wanted a piece of management. And there was even a story there or two that I felt that Cheveldayoff was willing to, in a couple of years when he's done coaching, allow him some management stuff and he would move up higher.
Yeah.
And I just look back on Rick Bowness was a consolation prize, right? And Rick Bowness said that. I would want Barrie too. He's a great coach and I'm old. And then, if you could go back in history and think of, there's an old adage in fantasy sports, some of the best deals you ever make are the ones that don't happen.
Yeah.
And you get frustrated that somebody won't take your deal because you want to make a trade in fantasy sports, and then a week later, the guy you were trying to get goes down for the season.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that adage of the best, some of the best moves you ever make are the ones that never come to fruition. Some of the best moves the Jets have ever made was one that never came to fruition with Barrie Trotz. And I don't like to bash Barrie. He's a great coach.
Oh, phenomenal
But
coach.
you cannot have a Hall of Fame guy like this and look at this team and this roster from Nashville and not raise an eyebrow of go. And David Poile, David Poile was there for 18 years.
Long time.
And people were like, oh, much like here with Chevy, fire him because he's been there for so long. Fire him because he's been there for so long. Well, be careful what you wish for.
Well, yeah. Look at where he was able to get that team. I mean, they were the best team in the National Hockey League, or right up there for a number.
Trophy. They went to a Stanley Cup final against Sidney Crosby.
And listen, the expansion and the way the NHL expanded when the Predators showed up in the league was a heck of a lot different than when Vegas and Seattle showed up, right? I mean, it was a lot easier to become competitive very, very, very quickly when Nashville came to the league. It was like, it's like, figure it out. You know, we'll throw you some players. The most teams will be able to protect 95% of their roster, and here you go. Here's a couple of scraps. Put it together and figure it out, right? Here's Kelly. Listen, the Jets are taking on the Calgary Flames tonight. Pregame gets going at 6:30. Puck drop is at 8:30. Here's more from Scheifele, starting with Kelly, where the Jets are going, heading for a 5th in a row.
From the big picture, Mark, your night aside, which is certainly going to be memorable, but this team really looks to be finding itself with its style of play. Are you guys feeling that on the ice as well?
I still don't think we've played a solid 60 minutes yet. I think that's I think that's very exciting. We haven't, I think even tonight we came out great. Obviously got an early goal in the power play, and then they kind of turned the tides on us and started to kind of buzz on us and got a couple power plays, and I think there's still a lot of things to fix, but that's it's early in the season, so there's always things to fix, there's always things to get better at, and we have a group that wants to do that.
PK in and around 95%.
Unbelievable.
Power play is running at 33% right now, 4th in the league.
Penalty kill is sensational. So, and I agree with what Paul and Mitchell and the guys, Christian O'Mal and Kelly and John Rempel were talking about this. It's gonna penalty kills out of the gate are always great.
Yeah.
But this one's phenomenal. It's going to regress. Teams are going to figure it out
without
and
a doubt.
Make some adjustments. But out of the gate, it's really won them a couple games.
Call the Boston Pizza Jets at noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Boston Pizza, coming for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15. Only at BP. The number one caller will be awarded a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza on Friday. Let's take a break. Let's come back on the other side. Hey, we got an update on some of the ailing Winnipeg Jets. Who's on the ice?
This is good news.
Who's skating? Yeah, this is great news. And then Mark Scheifele, Calgary Hall of Fame broadcaster, is going to be joining us after 12:30. It's been a rough start for the Calgary Flames. We'll help to figure out why as we go towards tonight's puck drop in Calgary.
Anne Murray once said, sure could use a little good news today. Well, there's some good Jets news today.
She also sang about...
Can I have this dance for the rest of my life?
No, there's like a dove or a white bird or something.
Snowbird?
That's it.
Snowbird. What was the other one that was
going down to Florida, snowbirding it.
That's what she did, actually.
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
she
was a
lived
big
the song.
Florida Panthers.
Florida Panthers season ticket holder and golfing. Living the dream. Snowbird dream.
I wish I could be Anne Murray. We'll be right back. Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line to win a VIP car wash. My good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program, which is coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. We're gourmet pizza and pasta, bring the team to Boston Pizza. Before we bring Mark Steven, Calgary Hall of Fame broadcaster, onto the show here, just want to
Another
give
good guy.
Oh, great guy.
He's full of good guys.
Like talking about, Dale Hawerchuk being one of Mark Scheifele's mentors. Mark, 100%, probably he's up there.
Oh, I thought you were
one of my mentors.
Say they played in a line together.
They did, yeah.
In Cornwall.
We were both guards. I was during my Calgary Stampeders years when I was playing for the Stamps.
Mark and I played for
the
Stamps.
We were both guards. I wasn't big enough. I wasn't quick enough. I didn't have quick enough feet to play tackle, but I was good enough for a guard.
Mark and I played for the UFC Dinos when I was getting my degree.
Dave Manuk from the Illegal Curve putting this out there, saying there were three Jets on the IR skate down at Hockey for All Center. Adam Lowry, who is also skating in a non-contact with the team over the weekend. Dylan Sandberg, as he comes back from a broken wrist.
Yeah,
and
he got out there last week, I believe, with Lowry.
And Cole Perfetti was out there too as well. Dave says 91. Of course, that's Perfetti's number. Skating well and looking good as he recovers from an ankle injury that was labeled as week to week.
He looks really good, actually. Watch him take some turns here in the video that Dave put out. He looks really good.
Very impressed with him. So the reinforcements are on the way for a team that's depth has stepped up, and it's just about to get deeper in the coming weeks as these guys get healthy. I don't think we'll see any of them in the month of October. Adam Lowry, still the expectation was. So I think we're about 2 weeks from Cole Perfetti, maybe 3 weeks from Dylan Sandberg into his 4 to 6 week situation. So, I mean, it's still going to be a while yet.
My father-in-law was actually asking me this morning about when he was picking up the kids about Adam Lowry still on schedule or what. And I said, well, I think the 25 games is at the end of it.
Wow.
I think it's best. I think as far as I know, it's on schedule, but on schedule could have been 10 games, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct on that? It was between 10 and 25 games. It was between November and end of December.
Yeah, December, yeah.
But it could be 10 games and it could be 25 is what we were told.
So welcome Mark Stephen on to the program. Calgary Hall of Fame broadcasters, the Winnipeg Jets are in Calgary to take on the Flames. Pregame gets going at 6:30, puck drop at 8:30. Hey, Mark, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing? Sounds like you're right on top of things as the Jets and the Flames get set to play twice this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's exciting. And sort of both teams have had different starts to the year, Mark. 5 losses in a row now for the Flames. Only victory that they had was digging out of that 3-0 hole against the Edmonton Oilers in both those teams' season openers. Can we get an overview over the Flames' first 6 games from your point of view so we can sort of set the stage and we can get into some other stuff?
Yeah. Well, it's really a rough start. It's about as rough as it gets. They're 32nd in a 32-team league when you look at points by percentage. So it's a really rough start. And, a lot of some frustration already. I'm not sure this team was going to make the playoffs anyway, but I'll say a 1-5 start and then having to face the Jets twice in a week certainly won't help the cause. But, they're not scoring. They've got 11 goals in 6 games. It's just not good enough, and they're not playing very well at 5-on-5. So they've shook up the lineup a bit today. Is it going to be enough? I don't know, but something's got to get going because this is a really rough start. I know it's kind of doomsday language for October the 20th, but they're in a tough spot.
Oh, it's minus 14 goal differential.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that, Mark, because I saw somebody put out on social media about a week ago that said the Flames are what I kind of thought they were. They're not going to, quote, fluke themselves into 96 points again. I don't think they fluked themselves into last season, but I was also very surprised at how competitive they were and, how tough they were to play against. What has changed in your mind out of the gate, or is it just nothing? They're the same team, just a little bit better and just can't find it yet?
Well, yes, that is the issue, is that they're largely the same team. They did tie up a lot of their key players in the offseason, Coronado, Wolf, Ball, and signed Ryan Huska to an extension. But, they did have a fabulous season last year, and give them the credit for just about making the playoffs. But they were also one of the lowest scoring teams in the league last year, and, a lot of that was papered over by Dustin Wolf. And, again, they didn't go out and really sign anybody in the offseason. They've promoted a couple of guys, but they don't have any real difference makers. And, their goal-scoring woes weren't addressed in the offseason, and as a result, it's coming back to haunt them right now.
Yeah, I mean, you've been kind of ringing this bell for a while now, all throughout the offseason and into the preseason, into the season, that they're not doing enough to address their scoring. I guess what could they do to improve it?
Oh, great question. They did shake up the lines quite a bit today, I've got to say that. And they do have Jonathan Huberdeau back. This will be a second game back, and certainly he'll make a difference, a veteran that will help. What can they do? Well, they've got to get, some additional help. Matt Coronado, a young player, is doing very well. Joel Farabee, who they got in the trade last year with Philadelphia, is going to have to step it up. They'll need more productivity from the back end. They've got almost none from the back end, whereas last year Mackenzie Weegar had 47 points out of that. So they just have to get a lot of their guys going and get it going quick. They've changed up the line. They benched Igor Sharangovich for the game tonight. That's 5.75 $5 million sitting in the press box, but they've just got to find the combinations, and they've changed up a lot of the lines. I mean, Michael Backlund has moved up to the second line to work with Coronado and veteran Blake Coleman, but they've got to keep working to find the combinations because it's a struggle.
Has Dustin Wolf been as good as last year, or, as teams figure out and have film on somebody, or is teams are looking at things that he may need to get better at yet? And that would be understandable given how young he is, but he's such a good, and he played so well last year. Is there any difference in his game you've seen, Mark?
He's probably tailed off a bit. I don't think he's been awful, but he was yanked in the game in Vegas the other day. I mean, it's a different situation. He came into here as the unchallenged number one and a lot of pressure on him. I'm not saying he can't handle it, but, right now they're 30th in goals against, so he's got to be better too. And I know it's a long season, but, right now he's off to, I wouldn't say awful start, but he's got to be better too.
2027, 28, the new rink slated to be finished then, Mark. How far away are the Flames from being able to truly recover from that those days in July back in 2022 when there was the exit of Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau?
Well, two things. First, the stadium is on time, on budget, so it should be opening in 27. As far as the team, no, those are big blows. I mean, they also built that team to play and beat the Edmonton Oilers, and they lost in that playoff round against the Oilers in the second round. So
where I still believe, Mark, I still believe they were the better team that year. They just didn't win that series.
Yeah, they were, and it was a great, memorable series, but it didn't happen. And, certainly the Tkachuk departure and the way it happened really rocked the organization, as did Johnny Gaudreau's departure. And those are guys you just don't replace. I mean, we've seen that Tkachuk has gone on to do. Clearly, nobody could still comprehend the tragedy of Johnny Gaudreau, but he was obviously a real strong player and one of the favorite Flames of all time.
Well, and I've mentioned that on this station, Mark, that we talk about Hellebuyck and Scheifele re-signing the new Kyle Connor contract, all that stuff. And I'm like, we forget about Calgary that happened, right? Like, basically, if Hellebuyck and Scheifele didn't re-sign here or say they weren't going to re-sign here, we wonder what the Jets would look like.
Oh, totally. Yeah, they're on the same level, just different positions, but they have the same impact as those guys do for the Jets, and no question that really hit the organization hard. You don't just find a winger like Johnny Gaudreau out there or a disturber like Tkachuk has turned out to be. It ended up being the perfect trade. It was a bit of a high-risk gamble when Florida did it. Jonathan Huberdeau was a very much beloved Panther, but they said we're going to find a different way to win, and they did. So it was a big trade, a bold trade, and Huberdeau is playing better, but he'll never live up to his $10.5 million deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's not possible, eh? I mean, I try to put myself, because this always comes up whenever we talk about the Flames, and it's the Huberdeau deal and the contract and all that. And I go back and I look at it from the context of the moment that it happened and what had just happened in Calgary. The trade, bringing him in, he was a UFA at the end of that year coming up. And Brad Treliving was the general manager of the team. Now he's in Toronto. He had to make that contract. He had to make that signing. I mean, Huberdeau's coming off a 100-point season, all that. I mean, now it looks back and you're kind of like, oh man, what happened? He can't possibly live up to that deal. But in the context of the moment that it occurred, it made perfect sense. And I think anybody would have made the same decision.
Totally. That was a record-setting season, 115 points, and he was a very much beloved Panther. And, to get him out of there was a big deal. I mean, that was not at the time, and going back, like you said, that was not well received in Florida either, that they were trading, one of the Mr. Panther characters of that franchise and just sent him away. But they made the bold, tough decision. They had to find a different way to win, and they did. But, no, in the moment, I get it. It probably was a little higher. I think it raised some eyebrows that it was as high as it was here. I've heard that there was a little consternation, but not the fact that they got him and signed him. And again, he's playing better. He just got back on the roster, scored a goal the other day, and he'll certainly help. He had a decent season last year, and he's just going to have to pick it up and play a little better. 28 goals, 34 assists. So we'll see what he does this year. He will certainly help.
I'm going to be that guy, Mark, and before we let you go, ask you what's the future of Rasmus Andersson, because I'm sure he's excited to talk about that all year.
Yeah, he's handled it really well. But and as he said, I'm not the only guy in the history of the NHL to have a expiring contract coming up. Let me put it this way: he's not doing a lot to help his trade value as of this moment. He too is struggling mightily, like a lot of guys are. So he's got 1 assist. So we'll see what he does. I think that's sort of the other shoe waiting to drop for the Flames and see where he goes. I still think there's a place for him in the NHL. Somehow maybe they'll come to terms here, but I just think maybe it's time to move and open up some other spaces on the back end. But that's kind of the other shoe hanging out there, what will happen with Rasmus Andersson.
Calgary Hall of Fame broadcaster Mark Scheifele on the show. Mark, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Take care.
Okay, thanks. We'll be seeing a lot of the Jets and looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
That's for sure.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll see you in Winnipeg in the next couple of weeks.
As long as a certain football team comes with them.
Okay, all right, Mark. Mark's the voice of the Stabs.
You might see our football team before that happens.
Okay, we'll see. All right, thanks, Mark. Take care.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 204-780-6868, 204-780-6868. So, I mean, I don't know. Dick texts the show, 204-780-6868, says this is a trap game. I don't know about that.
I don't think that's happened to the Jets anymore. I just don't. And look, I wanted to say this as we delved in a little bit on the podcast, so if people want to get into that, but I thought this was going to be an ominous start for the Jets. I thought they were going to have a tough time finding points and also out of the gate. Now, it's only a handful of games, don't get me wrong, but I think they deserve a lot of credit. I thought this was going to be a little bit more ominous with those 3 players out. But again, and we delve into this on the podcast, I mean, Mark, Kevin Cheveldayoff brings in like not a lot of fanfare around the Cole Koepke, Tanner Pearson, those kind of signings this offseason. Of course, they lost Ehlers, but man, this system they play, it suits them well. And that's why I don't think, look, they're going to lose to bad teams. They're going to have an off night this season, or maybe 3 or 5. But I just don't see them going into a trap game. I think they're too well coached. I mean, the only one I saw last year was that one in Utah when Scott O'Neill went off.
Yeah.
And then they won 11 in a row or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, it's going to happen. No team doesn't have one. I just don't think it's tonight. I think they're too focused and playing too well.
Mr. Chance, get your thoughts on the show today. Call the Boston Pizza Jets at Noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6868. Boston Pizza, come in for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15 only at BP. The number 1 caller will be awarded a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza. Did you hear Elliot Friedman and Jonathan Taves interview? Were you able to catch that?
I saw a little bit of it. I was going to rewatch it today after the show.
There was a really great quote, and Taves talks about his health journey and sort of his like personal thing. But one thing, and really honestly, if you take a listen to it, it's fantastic. Much along those ilks of heading into the Open Championship in Britain, Scotty Scheffler, and he has those fantastic comments about life and stuff like that. That's about around the same sort of journey and experience, very similar ties that they make there. But there was one thing I wanted to just mention here real quick as we go to break, about Taves talking about when he became the captain of that team so young, and he feels like now that wasn't fair. That wasn't a fair thing to give him to see when he was a young man, and the pressure that he then put on himself, and he didn't allow himself to sort of grow and make mistakes.
Too often.
And
Connor Bedard should never be a captain for the Blackhawks for 5 years.
I agree with that.
Celebrini better not get an A for 5 years. Just let them play and grow and develop, and let other people lead the team. I believe in this wholeheartedly. I remember the days when Mike Modano said, I don't want to be captain anymore. I just want to play.
Yeah.
There's a responsibility to it, and you have to be comfortable enough in the league with your own game and who you are before you can lead other people just because you're the best player on the team.
Yeah, and he was 20 years old in 2008.
It's way too young.
We'll be right back. Hey, speaking of Elliot Friedman, he put out a little tidbit of information about a certain classic. Might be on its way to Winnipeg. We'll tell you what it is after this.
Slapshot? That's a classic.
So the morning skate for tonight's game, 6:30 pregame show. Puck drop at 8:30 local time here on 680 CJOB, Jets and Flames. Mitchell Clinton just came out with the line rushes live from Calgary. Connor Scheifele, Velarde, Niederreiter, Taves, Nyquist, Iafallo, Nemesnikov, Lambert. Lambert's in the game, and then Koepke, Barron, and then Tanner Pearson. And then Morrissey, DeMello, Stanley, Pionk are sticking together. Why not? And why wouldn't they be sticking together when they've been playing so well together? And then Fleury and Shannon. Looks like Connor Hellebuck might be starting, because I think there was the idea that he was going to be playing every third game. But when you have a back-to-back coming up, you're definitely going to, and then Comrie will take one of those games.
And remember when we had Paul Edmonds on, I said I was a little surprised Comrie started on Long Island. He said, me too. I thought the Calgary game would be his first start.
Yeah, me too.
Like the back-to-backs.
VIP texter, congratulations to this texter, who I think is referring to themselves as BC, I think. But not clear. But he says, VIP texter winning the VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 690 St. Anne's Road. Mark Scheifele is like our Gordie Howe, but less fists and elbows. Great character. Wouldn't be surprised if he plays into his 40s. I wouldn't be either. If Mark Scheifele was like 41 playing with the Winnipeg Jets, that would not be a surprise to me.
I mean, it's hard to see a fit with the Jets doing that. But if he wants to, I don't know what the cap would be, but in today's world, if he wanted to Corey Perry it and sign a $2 million deal and play on the fourth line.
Why not?
I just don't know. He's so driven. I don't know if that would be the role for him, but he does absolutely adore the game and playing. But I think he goes into management. I think Mark Scheifele, and you can mark this tape, I think he'll be a general manager of the Winnipeg Jets one day.
We were talking about Elliot Friedman before. The Heritage Classic returns to Winnipeg? ? Elliot Friedman on Saturday during the headlines on Hockey Night Hockey Night in Canada. Why did that struggle to come out of my mouth?
Were you going to say Hockey Night in Manitoba?
I don't know what I was going to say. Winnipeg is a serious contender, according to Elliot, to host the Heritage Classic. So they played it in 2016 at what is now known as Princess Auto Stadium. Mosaic Stadium. They were the hosts of that game against the Flames in 2019. Of course, Brian Little scores the OT winner. And the Jets did not score against the Oilers. And I'm sure they had a beautiful goal horn. 3-0. I'm sure they had like a great goal horn that they were going to play off in like old school, and they just never got to use it. So who do you want the Jets? The Leafs would be great. I don't think they play the Oilers and Flames again because they've already done that. What about Minnesota? The Sabres played. I was just going
to say, wouldn't it be perfect if it was Minnesota?
They should play Minnesota because it hasn't just been Canadian teams. The Sabres played in 2022 in Hamilton, I think. So
you know who I think it's going to be? I think it's going to be Vancouver.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Make it the Wild.
I think it should be the Wild. And all I remember of the last one was the sun wouldn't go down and freeze the ice. So it took like 3 hours.
There was the glare. I remember the glare.
Well, my father-in-law said that today too. Wasn't there a glare off the ice?
It was horrible. They had to delay the game.
And I said, I don't know about the glare because I was there.
Yeah.
I just remember saying like they need this sun to go down. And when the sun went down, so I guess it was the glare.
It was the glare. Jim Toll, take you all the way till 2 o'clock. Thank you very much, Jeffrey Fortier, producing the show. That's it for me. Back same time tomorrow. See ya.